Welcome back to Sports Extra Overtime. It's now time for our Game Time with Greg segment.
Our pal Greg Hobleib joins us. He's fresh off the air from the Friday night extravaganza on our radio news partner, WJBC. Greg, let's start off with a battle of one-loss teams in the inner city. Great rivalry, normal community at Bloomington, and yet another huge performance from some guy named Dalen Bodie, who's in the highlights every Friday night.
My goodness, they weren't even sure he was going to play for a while after last week. He didn't play at all in the second half. He was seen on the sideline in crutches and an ice bag on his knee. And then he goes and pulls a Willis Reed on us, and he comes out and just lights up the place. He had 224 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Now this is on the ground, and then he threw for 2 more scores, 163 yards. He and the Ironman really took over this game in the second half. He had run for 2 scores, passed for 2 more. Normal community outscored the Raiders 28-13 in that second half. Now Bloomington, remember, had started out strong in the first 13 seconds of the game. Drew Crooks ran the kickoff back 87 yards, but this rivalry has a history for a reason. 113th edition of the Ironmen and the Purple Raiders, and Normal Community comes out on top. We can't overlook Griffin Moore. Battle of the quarterbacks, I think I mentioned last week at this spot. He had 214 yards through the air and 3 touchdowns. Another great matchup between the two at Fred Carlton Field.
And a huge matchup at the top of the Heart of Illinois Conference. Tri-Valley on the road at defending state champion GCMS, and GCMS played like champions, dominating the Vikings Friday night.
Yeah, the Vikings coach Josh Roop says he thinks GCMS is better this year. That's a strong statement, but I think he was proven right on Friday night because they were so solid. 9 rushes, 118 yards for Jake Trantina. The defense of GCMS got its 4th shutout of the season. Tri-Valley got hurt going up against that defense. The first 3 possessions, they turned the ball over 3 times. It was kind of their own doing that got them behind the 8 ball. They had a block punt, a fumble, and then an interception in their first 3 possessions. But you have to look at the schedule that the Vikings are playing now. They're okay. The teams that they have played, their 3 losses, the Vikings are now 3-3, but those 3 losses are the teams that are now combined 17-1. So it's a meat grinder schedule in the Heart of Illinois Conference, and the Vikings still are looking and can get a postseason bid, but they're going to have to finish strong.
Let's stay in the Heart of Illinois Conference, Greg. A big Week 6 matchup, DMACC hosting Fieldcrest, and how about the Knights with a big road win in Mackinac?
Yeah, they turned on the defense in the second half. Coach Derek Schneeman told our guys that, they figured some things out. You know how football is. Halftime, that's when you go in and you start working out your dry erase board. Not the chalkboard anymore. This is the 21st century. So they got their ink going on that whiteboard and did a better job defensively. The Knights really pretty solid. DMACC is still a young team on both sides of the ball. They run that double wing, and they're still trying to just get the experience. They'll be fine, but DMACC is going to have to try to finish strong as well in order to try to get a postseason berth. And finally, the first win in league play goes to the Fieldcrest Knights, and they did it very decisively. That was an impressive win at Jim McDonald Field.
And finally, Greg, in our final 30 seconds, U-High looking for its 2nd straight win, but fall just short tonight against Springfield Southeast.
Good game. They had a chance at the end, too. Pioneers, though, had 3 turnovers in the 4th quarter, and once again, they just suffered their own inflicted wounds. They had a final drive with 2.5 minutes left in this one, but turned it over with an interception. Pioneers still fighting hard. They felt a lot better after getting a victory, but just couldn't quite come up big on homecoming night.
He's Greg Hobleib taking a closer look at the prep football action every week on Sports Extra Overtime. You can hear Greg on the Friday night extravaganza on our radio news partner, WJBC. Thanks again, Greg.
And coming up next, Washington senior J.J. Gaudet hopes to lead Washington to a deep playoff run. That story when we continue